What's up guys, Dr. Jared here, Tone and Titan, and in this video I wanted to share with you a simple exercise routine that you can do at home to eliminate pain in your wrist. Now most wrist pain that I treat in my clinic comes from one of two sources. It's either a lack of mobility, meaning your wrist is tight and it's stiff and it's not moving quite the way that it should, or a lack of strength, meaning if there's insufficient strength to stabilize your wrist through a lot of the exercises or a lot of the activities that you're doing throughout your day. So if we're going to create a routine to treat wrist pain, it needs to include the right stretches to improve mobility and the right strengthening exercises to improve strength and stability. That's exactly what you're going to get in this video, and I hope that it helps you to feel better fast. So let's get started right now. With all of these exercises, you can do them seated or you can do them standing. You can do them supported on a table or on a desk or here on your leg, or non-supported, whatever you feel like works that area the best. Let's get started with some active range of motion exercises. I've got 3 of them. This is just a good way to get the wrist warmed up, get the muscles warmed up, blood flow into the muscles. Here we go. So the first thing we're going to start with is flexion and extension. So if you bring your arm into this position, what I want you to start with is we're going to curl the wrist down this way, tuck the fingers underneath, hold that for just a second, and then come right back up into this position. So we're bending backwards at the wrist with the fingers splayed out right there. So it looks just like that. And what we want to do here is keep that within your pain limitations. It might be a little uncomfortable. I'm okay with that, but I don't want it to be painful in your wrist. Again, all we're going for is some active range of motion here just to get things warmed up. We're going to go about 10 in each direction. After that, we're going to go side to side. So now let's bring your thumb up into a vertical position. We're going to tuck down towards the pinky, and then we're going to tuck up towards the thumb. So down and up, they call this motion ulnar deviation, down here towards this side, radial deviation up here towards your thumb, and we're just going to do about 10 of those as well. The last thing I like to do is some pronation and supination. For this one, I do want your elbow bent to a 90 degree and at your side. I want the motion to come from your wrist, not from your shoulder. And so tuck that elbow in right here. We're going to go palm up is supination, and then we're going to rotate to palm down, and that's pronation. So once again, just about 10 repetitions there. Super easy, just within your pain limitations, just as a way to warm up before some of these other exercises. Next, let's get into some stretching or some passive range of motion exercises. The ones that I like to do that, or the stretches that I like to do that, we're going to come into this position again. You're going to pull towards you, but now with this hand, hook your fingers and you're going to add a little overpressure. So I'm pulling towards me just through my fingers until I get a good comfortable stretch through these wrist flexor muscles right here. So this is a wrist flexor stretch. I would hold that for 20 seconds, and then we're going to come back down in this direction. So now fingers and palm down. With my other hand, I'm going to hook the back of my hand and I'm going to give it a little gentle overpressure, pulling in my way right here. We're going to hold that for 20 seconds and then go back up here, and then we're going to repeat that 3 times. So 3 times, 20 seconds in each direction. Again, keep in mind that those should be comfortable. If it's painful, you've pushed too far, you might need to just back off a little bit. The next stretch that I like is going to be into ulnar deviation. A lot of times if you get pain right here at the base of your thumb, this is a great stretch for that. What I want you to do is take your thumb and tuck it into your palm and then wrap your fingers around it. So your thumb is tucked down and your fingers are holding it down. Now what you're going to do is pull your pinky down towards the floor until you get a good comfortable stretch right here through these tendons. These tendons that act on the muscle are a common area for pain. This is a great way to stretch that out and to eliminate that. 3 times 20-second holds is what we're going to do on this stretch as well. Next, let's get into some resisted exercises, some strengthening exercises. Now to do this, there are quite a few different options. I've got a small dumbbell here. You only need like a 1 or 2 pound dumbbell. This is a 5, that's the smallest one that I have available. I don't know what my kids have done with my 1 and 2 pound dumbbells. So start light on this. If you don't have a dumbbell available, a water bottle works really well, or even like a can of soup can work really well for resistance with these exercises. For this one, I do prefer to be supported, so I'm going to be right here on my table, but again, you can do this down here on your lap if that's convenient. let's get into some wrist extension. So I'm gonna start with my palm down, my wrist bent down towards the ground. I'm gonna use these muscles on the top of my forearm to pull that dumbbell up towards the ceiling and then slowly return back down to that starting position. So it looks just like that. You're gonna do about 10 repetitions here, and then I like to switch over. Now we're gonna work into wrist flexion. So we're gonna work these wrist flexors on this side. Roll that weight down into your fingertips and then curl it up all the way as high as you can. So I'm bending my wrist again up towards the ceiling. And so that's the wrist flexion exercise, and I would do that 10 times and then go back to the wrist extension exercise, 3 sets of 10 on those in each direction. The next thing that we can work is the radial deviation motion. And so now I'm just gonna bring the weight into this position right here. A lot of times with a dumbbell anyway, it's a little more effective if you grab down lower on the dumbbell so that that pulls you into a further motion in this direction. So we're gonna come from right here and then we're just gonna pull the top of that dumbbell up towards the ceiling. So that is what your radial deviation motion looks like. You're gonna get that exercise right through here, through the top part of your forearm. Great exercise in that direction. And then the last thing that we're gonna work is a pronation supination motion. This one, if you have a hammer laying around, this is a good exercise to perform that with, because the head of the hammer is big and heavy, so you can flop down in this direction and then you can pull over into this direction. If you don't have the hammer, you can use the dumbbell. And again, the same thing. We're gonna hold right down here. We're gonna let it come down into this direction, and then we're gonna use those muscles in our forearm to pull right back over this way. Same numbers apply on this one. I would go 10 times in each direction into the pronation and supination, and then I would repeat that 3 times. A lot of times with wrist pain, people will get some carpal tunnel symptoms. So if you do have numbness, tingling in your palm or in your fingers, there are some different exercises that you would actually be even a little more beneficial for that. If that's your case, if you wonder what those exercises look like, this is the video that I want you to click on right here for carpal tunnel symptoms. YouTube, for some reason, thinks that you might like this video right here, so check that one out, see if YouTube is correct. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to Tone and Tighten yet, I'd love to see you back here for future videos. Click the circle right here to subscribe to my channel. And until next time, we'll see you again soon on Tone and Tighten.